Let's get some analysis now. James Dorsey is an adjunct senior fellow at Rajaratnam School of International Studies. He joins me live from Singapore. Thank you for being with us on the program. Now, we are seeing this momentum from the international community forming some sort of dialogue with the new Syrian administration. Some countries, like Turkey, have formally appointed diplomats in their reopened embassies in the capital. But of course, there is this anticipation to see how the EU and how the US are going to take those first steps in creating diplomatic ties with the administration. And it's going to be a tough one because these are, countries that currently recognize the HTS as a terrorist organization.
The fact of the matter is that Hayat Tahrir and Ahmed al-Shara have a jihadist past. But fact of the matter also is that they have, over the last 8 to 9 years, tried to shed and break with that past. The record is checkered. There's no doubt about it, but there is a record. And so there is reason to want to encourage that rather than to frustrate that development. The United States has been basically, in a sense, acting contradictorily. So on the one hand, you had the U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken this weekend confirm that there were direct contacts with Hayat Tahrir, despite the fact that it's on the U.S. Terrorism list. But at the same time, you saw the U.S. Congress, hours before Damascus fell and Bashar al-Assad left the country, extend sanctions. And keep in mind, Syria is one of the most sanctioned countries in the world. I think the trick here is going to be to, rather than necessarily take them off the list, suspend their membership on the list, and at the same time suspend certain sanctions. Because what this new administration in Syria needs is to very quickly be able to stabilize the country economically and also socially.
Well, we do know that those talks are currently underway to see how, the EU and the US is going to approach this matter. The new administration, they have said that they want to form institutions that are essential for the Syrian population and a smooth transition in the country. And as you mentioned, it's the most sanctioned country in the world. I mean, these sanctions, they need to be lifted in order for the Syrian population to thrive. Talk to us a bit about the impact that these sanctions are essentially having on life in Syria.
It's crippling. It's as simple as that. There are, in a sense, two sets of sanctions. And we're talking about the sanctions that were imposed from 2011, 2012 on, with other words, when the protests against the Bashar al-Assad regime started and the civil war started. There are sanctions that precede that have to do with Syria being on the on the list of state sponsors in the United States. The post-2011 sanctions are twofold. One are sanctions against former officials of the Assad government, and there's no reason to lift those sanctions. But the other sanctions are the ones that are really crippling because they blacklist whole sectors of the economy, and they also block things like reconstruction, materials for reconstruction. And those are the sanctions that need to be as quickly as possible suspended to give the Hayat Tahrir and the other rebel groups that now form the new Syrian government the chance to start a process in which is inclusive, but which also shows not only to the outside world, but to Syrians themselves, that this government will be able to deliver.
All right, James Dorsey, it's always a pleasure speaking to you. Thank you for your time.
Always a pleasure to be with you. Thank you.